Her lips which whisper like reeds on the wind, wet with moisture sprung from a well deep within, whispers like the petals of an iris, the reedy blossom which withers and is not trodden down for long. Fell burgundy iris or Moses Cleveland's Canterbury Tales, line 2213. Was hoping to catch the pink moon tonight, but it's somewhere behind those clouds. Belittled, yes, but not behooved. What lips which whisper thus were moved. What fate to seal, to feel with love's first kiss. What fate to know and not to diss. Anarchy, but to be remiss. But wine to taste, indeed to pass on piss. And off they were and headed west, the gnome there be indeed to test. What flagrant flagellations for to goad? What roads to cross, what fellest rhyme, metal to rise, but by what design, how aimlessly they ambled down the road. By the light of the moon so bright, led Catania into the night, viper ever loyal, and by her side, of minstrels and of troubadours, what fate to laud or to abhor, for she to know, to laud or to deride. With Gruger and Ladandria rode they with the gnome Sabrina, her pony wiles indeed with guile, sneaky. They cantered to the cliff face took, their mounts they stashed within a nook, no mounting sorrow borrowed they to speak. Atop the cliff the rocky plain they crossed with no one to complain. What dross to rise awaiting to be seen. What dross to rise indeed to know, what mettle met and soon to know. A trial comes, no need for to demean. The fallen moon the darkness be, but left behind for all to see. For to endear, embraced, born not in spite. Come the darkness of the night, the silent moves, nay for to spite. The cleft and rodent hole came into sight. Confronted by the smell of soot, where dog-like things were put to boot, though strangely absent were remains of sheep. Put to boot and put to test, in their den their charred corpses rest. Where burned they were, their treasure for to keep. To ambush indeed were they led, deceitful dear departed Fred, who heartless bled from where his fell. For heartless bled from where had fell his head. Heartless fallen did his worst, deceitful heart, the bore had burst. To twist the hand of fate, he late and dead. Sabrina thus was put on point, what strife to come for to anoint, Catania having been the only one, who knew the score, been there before. This trip for she should be a bore, walk in the park, indeed, and not much fun. But past contradicting old rock forms, least of which be not of the norm, the cautious gnome on point thus proceeded. The shameless runt indeed did hunt, nervous shyness did she shunt, adventurous spirit to be heeded. Into the cavern round the bend, the den where Fred had met his end, which reeked of soot and smouldering remains. A charnel house or slaughter pit, descriptive terms which indeed fit, the blackened bones in heaps for to explain. Catania knew what had befell, the corpses heaped, no tales to tell, in silence she behind the other four. Nay had been to Jackal Mountain, a granite spire like a fountain, new to them they ever to explore. The bones turned over in the pyre, with sword and eyes she did inquire. Kobolds, whispered she upon review. The dogman myth thus was debunked, as deep into the cavern sunk, they to the void that goblinoids to view. Or was it, thought Catania now, she pondered with the furrowed brow, misled by Fred, unwary, a mistake? Could dogmen be they yet to know, homunculus or feller foe, on downward to the depths the course to take? The withered host thus found the gnome, the withered boat thus found the gnome, south passage where indeed she roamed, night vision ogling the crumbling planks. Someone's been here, came a whisper from the darkness black as cinder, the echo of the cavern for to thank. There's something missing here as well. upon the wreck boat did she dwell. They took something from underneath the boat. Looks like bags of coin may be, hard to say how long they buried be. The rotted planks apparently did bloat. There moisture here or water be, but once upon a time to see. It much too dry now for this to be new. At least about 100 years incommodiously lodged here, or more, hard to say with but a view. When came she on the passage lapse, the south tunnel indeed collapsed. Ventured she to muse upon fallen stone. Looks like this way they came in turn, but back that way they did return, trapped or crushed, their fates to be unknown. Brash and burly despite her size, and quite correct, I would surmise. North she turned to navigate the chasm. The rope still taut from last year's span, the gap which spanned but last year's plan. I'm sorry, I'm losing it here. The rope still taut from last year's span, the gap which spawned but last year's plan. Inspired as was by wayward phantasm. And I'll stop there. Hope everybody's having a good night. Sorry about the moon. It looks like it's gonna. Well, it's underneath behind those clouds somewhere. I was really looking forward to seeing this one too. I missed the eclipse as well. Be safe and be well, and have a beautiful day. And thank you for listening.